It's not often, but there are parents or families who look after disabled children at many various age groups. Now, without being silly here, I would like to suggest that your child or the person you're looking after may have sexual needs, even if they're disabled, right? The thing is that sometimes the disability doesn't take away the feelings to procreate, to make love, or even if the person has got certain severe disabilities, even the visual look of a girl might even help them to satisfy their own anxieties and curiosity. Now, a lot of parents never really think about their children as being sexual. All they usually would think about their child is being in a wheelchair, being on the bed, being certain abled or disabled in certain aspects of their appearance or mentality. But I'd just like to suggest that disabled people have needs. They have the needs to kiss, even a kiss. Now, there is things where you don't have to, perform them as a carer, but you can actually get someone in who can actually satisfy their curiosity, needs, touch, even if say from a man's point of view, even if you brought in a girl, prostitute or an escort worker who is specialised in that area, which they've got people who are specialised in sexual needs of disabled now, even if the person just feels his ears or, shows him a little bit of body, for, 20 minutes, once a month, or even grabs the hands and, lets him feel. It's not actually sick because, some people think that's terrible, a disabled person having sexual needs. No, the terrible part is not being known that they do. You want to look after your child, or you want to care for that person, but at the same time, the person does have feelings, if possible, if that's within their disability. And that part of feelings is to interact with the opposite sex, I would say. So from a woman who is severely disabled, um, or mildly disabled, holding them back at home and not letting them have interaction with others, or interaction of feelings, can actually be damaging to their mental health. All they would see is, mum and dad, brother, sister, day in, day out, but there needs to be some form of variety for the person with a disability. This is a subject that not all parents would like to take hold of. It's a subject that not all families would like to take hold of. That a man or a woman still needs to have interaction with a stranger, or a stranger coming to visit them and, looking after their sexual needs. Now, I hope this hasn't angered anyone, but I hope it at the same time it's actually opened up the minds of some of the carers who wanted to know why their child's behaving funny. Sometimes it can be hormonal, why the behaviours are happening. Not all medications are going to cover the hormonal aspect. So maybe it might be considered in discussion with your family that the child actually, or the child, the man or woman, some of them are growing adults. Got to remember that. They're not little children either. Many people are growing adults. I keep sort of going down a level in my conversation because I don't have a script. So what I'm suggesting is talk to your doctor, talk to a therapist specialist about your child's sexual needs that you would like to do or help them with to keep that part of their mentality healthy. If it actually goes against your religion or beliefs, then it may not be too good to address that. But at the same time, some disabled adults can't have long-term relationships, but they can have short-term interactions with people. Now that can be very healthy, very stimulating, very rewarding to know that you're looking after your child within, your adult. and you don't want, uh, yeah, you want the person to, because this is no script, you want the person you're helping, you want to help them with their dreams. You know, some people just can't get married. Some adults can't get married. They can't have, as I said, long-term relationships. Now, how to go about it is a few suggestions. As I said, speak to your doctor, speak to a therapist, speak to other family members, and say, hey, you know, I never thought about this. We kiss and cuddle as a couple, you know, husband and wife, but we never allow our adult who is who has this form of disability to experience the same thing of touch and feeling. Not the same thing as mum and dad rubbing the person's arm, hand, or whatever and saying, oh, that's okay. You know, you're sometimes not addressing it. What you're doing is burying the problem. There is a book called Being a Man in a Woman's World, as a suggestion, by Dr. Dennis W. Nieder. Now, that talks about forms of relationships, forms of, what do you call it, visualization techniques, physical techniques, calisthenics, is it calisthenics or whatever it is anyway. Talks about all the different forms of learners. Now, that book will probably help you to learn about the different needs of your partner, if your partner's disabled, the needs of your child, your adult child, if that's what you want to call it, or an adult who has a severe disability, who can't reach sexual relief on their own, or even visual relief from having some stimulation than watching Barney and the Wiggles and stuff like that. It's a very, very big subject, this one, and it's really hard to tackle without a script, but I'm just giving a few ideas about the way of how to go about helping your disabled or person with a disability with their needs also. I can understand that some people have catheters and nappies and, you know, diaper changes and food plugs that go into the stomach. But, you know, to have a food plug that goes into the stomach, I can't remember the name of it, does not mean that the person is severely disabled. Some may have a mentality of 5 or 7 or, you know, 15, but even adolescent growth seems to need to have their needs met within sexual services. Now, sexual services, as I said, could be prostitute, if you want to call it that, an escort service, if you want to mould up the name more. But at the same time, just consider what I've just talked about, and hopefully on Men's Help TV, this has just helped a few parents to understand that disability is, as you are aware of, there is abilities, and a part of the abilities is sexual needs also, of the person you're caring for. It's not always going to be left up to a doctor or nurse to address this. Sometimes the average person on the street may have better insight than what you were thinking once upon a time or never wanted to approach. On Men's Help TV, hope this has been helpful.